It's C-Doc Again is brought to you by Hackensack Brewing Company and their Imperial Pilsner Auga, which was created in honor of the legendary DJs The Awesome 2. It's also brought to you by Chuck D Spit Slam Record Label Group. The Spit Slam Record Label Group, a Chuck D situation. Catch us on your favorite streaming platform, on Bandcamp, or visit our official web store at spitslamrecords.com. All releases are available digitally or on CD, with select titles available on vinyl and cassette. The Spit Slam Record Label Group. Throwback to the future sound.
It's C-Doc again.
Well, friends, it's good to see everyone again, even though I can't see a damn thing, but I'll see you in the comments. Welcome to another episode of It's C-Doc Again. It's Tuesday night, 9 p.m. You know where you're at. Channel 0. We're doing it as we usually do, and we're going to have some fun tonight, talking hip-hop stuff, as we do. So, please welcome my co-host. First up, he has one of the most incredible accounts on Instagram, the dopest, shall we say. He is also the founder of a dope podcast in its own right, People's Distinctive Travels. Please welcome to the show, Ultramag7.
Once again, back, it's the incredible. What's up, Doc?
What's up, bro? How are you?
I am well.
Glad to hear it.
No complaints. Yeah.
Fantastic. I wanted to. We got our other co-host here. We'll do that first, and then I want to thank you guys for holding it down last week. But also joining us tonight, the man behind Hip Hop Gods and the president of Rap Station. What else can we say? He does it all. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Flatline.
That's plenty.
That's plenty?
Yeah.
Yo!
The new setup looks dope.
Bro! Yo!
The new setup looks dope.
Thank you.
Yeah. He's styling on me. I see what he's doing. Let's see what he's doing. Oh.
Got 400 tapes back there now on the wall.
Wow. 400. Wow.
I see you. I see you.
Good. So good.
Yeah. Oh, I see you. I see what you're trying to do here. You're going to make us, we're going to have to bring back this old energy. It's
Right.
Ultramag versus Flatline. I see what's happening. Wow.
Yeah.
How are you, Flatline?
Well, I'm good. I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Hanging in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wanted to thank you guys for holding it down for me last week with the marathon episode with Raheem. Yeah. So go check that out, you guys, if you haven't. Yes. Well, Christina, this isn't a wax spinning show. So
Nope.
You're on the wrong episode.
Wait. Let me adjust this. Who are you calling lame? Who are you calling lame?
You came to the wrong place.
Yeah, you're in the wrong place. If you want to see our man DJ Soulbuck spin some records, there's a whole list of it. C-Doc Again, the mixtape.
Yep.
But here we interview artists.
Yes.
We're not spinning records. If you would have listened on Sunday, you'd be prepared to talk to Dave Psy.
Right. And and that was a dope episode of the mixtape, as always. I mean, Soulbuck never.
As always.
Yep.
Always. Yep. Oh, Doc, real quick. Our homegirl Jennifer is not here, but I just wanted to say rest in peace to her mother,
Yep.
that passed. So Miss Carlin, you know,
Yep.
rest in peace, and
Rest in peace. And
Jennifer.
good vibes. And, yep, good vibes and best wishes to our homegirl JOJ.
Yes.
Yep, in this tough time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you, Ultramag. And
Yeah, I didn't know if you was gonna do that, but I just,
no, that's good. Yeah, thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to it. You are welcome, Jennifer. The very, very least we can do. So,
Mm-hmm.
And and hey, our guest is here. Let's get to talking. You know,
Oh,
Buck played the tunes. Dave Psy's in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome to the show, Dave Psy.
Thank you.
Yeah. What's good, man?
Man, not too much, man. Feeling good. You know.
Yep. Yeah. Excellent. You if it, and in case for some of the people that don't know, our Channel Zero regulars know, but you and a friend of yours, Mocha Only, the Durable Mammal, have a show right here on Channel Zero on Wednesday nights.
We do. The Body Hat Weekly.
Yes.
And thank you for putting us on, man. We're really enjoying it.
Man, I'll tell you what. I watched the one you guys did on Instagram, and I was like, oh man, I want to bring this to Channel Zero because
Nice.
yeah, it was dope, and I get to sit in with you guys sometimes, so it's a lot of fun.
Most definitely, yeah.
Where did that idea come from?
So it's actually an idea I was kicking around for a while. And I kind of posed it to like a whole group of friends who were all like involved in the hip hop scene in various capacities. But basically it was like, I wanted to start like a book club, but have it be for music. So
Nice.
basically we would like, pick an album to review for the week and then talk about it at the end of the week. And a couple people showed interest, but Moke was really the one who was like, yo, let's do this. What are we waiting for? And I was like,
right.
Please, let's go.
Right.
And, here we are.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's still evolving, but
yeah.
But so far it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's great. You guys bring particular insight to the records, and you don't pick the usual fare, which is nice because you guys doing that. The one that made the biggest impression on me was the whole shebang Volume 1 by the Future Sound.
Oh yeah. Well, all credit to Mocha Only for that because I didn't even know that project.
I didn't either.
That was as far as it went.
Yeah.
He was like, we should really do this. This was an influential record for me. And I was like, really? And immediately sought it out. And I see it. I totally get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
That was an awesome find. So.
And I feel like, he and I, we talk about this. We're kind of going to go tit for tat a little bit because while our interests overlap, like probably 85%, 90%, maybe more, there's a few releases out there that I was really into that he never really checked for and vice versa. So,
yeah, I think that's one of the most beautiful things about the show, because you guys can come together on certain records, but then it's a matter of discovery for other ones.
Yeah. And I think, that's kind of the idea, hopefully for, anyone who sits in or anyone in the chat, because we want to hit them to stuff that they might have missed. Like you might note that most of the records that we've done have sort of come out that we've reviewed so far sort of came out like in that range of like 92 to 95.
Right.
There were so many major releases during those years that it was inevitable that certain things were just going to get overlooked. So,
yeah.
So, and I mean, there's more to go, like more recent and older, but
sure.
Are you guys still going to be talking about the goats, tricks of the shade at some point?
Yeah, we got it. We got it.
Okay. That is an all-time favorite of mine.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe roll up for that one. That would be super cool.
Sure.
Hey, I got to jump on there and tell my Swayzak story too. So
okay. Love that.
Yeah.
Ultra Swayzak story. Yep.
Yeah, admittedly, I don't know the Goats that well. Like, obviously, I knew Typical American. That was kind of unavoidable if you were into hip hop at the time. But I never really dug too deep into their discography, and the suggestion of reviewing their album made me go back and really like dive in a lot more. And yeah, it's a good record, and it's great, and it's like it's important for the time and still relevant today, and all of that.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
Unfortunately,
but absolutely.
Yes.
Right.
So speaking of hip hop records and stuff, how did you get started in hip hop? What was your gateway drug? And that's what I call it. You know, what was the thing that got you into it?
Sure. Well, I grew up in St. Louis, and you know, I guess my first exposure to any hip hop at all would have just been like having top 40 radio on in the car on the way to like soccer practice or something like that.
Right.
And you would hear like LL, I Need Love, or like one of like DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince hits of the day, and you know, that sort of thing. And like I always liked it, but it was never like, oh my God, I need to, you know, dive in. It wasn't really until my pops moved to Toronto in, I want to say 88. And so I started spending summers out there. And he would send me to this YMCA sports day camp thing. And I ended up making friends with a couple kids there who were like heavy into hip hop. And eventually conversation, you know, just got around to like sharing music that we're into. Meanwhile, I was like into stuff like, you know, Chili Peppers and like the Doors, and you know, very much not in that world, with the exception of I had Kill It Will, I had what else did I have? Oh, I had Sex Packets. That was a huge record. For whatever reason, I was like specifically into those records and didn't jump all the way in yet, even then. So once my friends started hipping me to various records, I stumbled onto this college radio show at KWUR, which is Washington University's radio station, which, not to be confused with University of Washington, which is out here in Seattle. Washington University is in University City, which is like basically St. Louis. It's like the first suburb of St. Louis. It's where Nelly is from. It's like that's the area that's where I grew up initially. And there were two shows back to back that I would listen to like late Tuesday or Wednesday night up to like 2 a.m. I'm like 7th grade. Mom's not happy about it at all. And what they would do is for the first hour, they would play records, and it was usually like B-sides and remixes.
Wow.
Which was really cool because like I'd hear a song and then I'd run out and grab the CD or the tape. It was still tapes back then. Yeah. And I'd be like, this isn't on it. Like, what's going on here?
Right.
But and then the last hour of it, they would freestyle.
Oh,
wow.
And one of the hosts was a name you might recognize, Ya Supreme. Does that ring?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a New York cat, but he was in St. Louis for university.
Wow.
And he later ended up, you know, cutting a couple records and putting them out on, I want to say Sundu Records, indie label out of New York.
Okay.
And he was really dope, really creative. Like his stuff is worth checking for. Y-A-H Supreme.
Okay. Yeah.
But anyway, I was like, whoa, these guys are just rapping off the head. They're clearly making it up as they go along. Like this is what I learned freestyling to be before that other definition. Just yeah, right.
Yeah.
I learned to accept that definition, but like you have to qualify it when you say freestyle now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was crazy. And I decided to try my hand at it. And, I just played around like in my bedroom. Like I would buy singles and then dub the instrumentals onto blank tape so that I would have like a full side of instrumentals to over. But it wasn't really until Common Sense's first record, the first single, I think it was, Take It Easy.
Take It Easy, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That song got to me, and that had me wanting to start writing.
Wow.
And then, not too long after that, the first few leaks of Illmatic songs came out. And again, these dudes, like on the radio show, they had an inside scoop because I had The World Is Yours and Memory Lane and One Love, not to mention obviously Halftime,
right?
And It Ain't Hard to Tell. But those three tracks in particular, I had like several months before the album dropped.
Wow. And
I didn't realize like quite how special it was until The World exploded over Nas, that year later on. But I couldn't stop listening to The World Is Yours. And it was to the point where like I was transcribing it. Like I was like, I need to learn this, so I'm gonna listen and write down what he's saying.
Yeah.
And I think that really elevated just my thought process around how to craft rhymes, really.
Yeah.
So
wow.
Big respect to Nas for that. And then, by that point I was like fully immersed. There was no turning back.
Right.
It's
all over now.
Yeah. It's funny too, because like I come from a musical family. My parents are both classical musicians. My father was a violinist. My mom used to play the harp. And my younger brother actually is a percussionist by trade also. So it's like very much a classical music family. And then here I am.
Right.
That's always funny. Like you end up at like a party or something that the parents have dragged you along to, and it's like all their folks.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, what instrument do you play?" And it's like, "Well, actually."
When did you first start recording stuff?
So that was until I got to Toronto, like full time. I moved there right before 10th grade. So that would have been, I think, 95. I think it was 95. Or maybe summer of 94. I think it was summer of 94.
Okay.
And, I had a couple homies up there who were like trying to make music, or wanted to make music, but weren't really recording yet. And my guy, who never ended up really going into music, he's more like in the tech world now, but he was like, he called me one day when I was still living in St. Louis, like it was already known that I was going to be moving, and he was like, "Yo, when you get out here, I need to introduce you to this Russian cat I found because I think he's going to be our DJ." And I was like, "Okay, that's interesting." And I'm picturing this like big Russian dude ends up being just this little cat who ended up eventually becoming Bookworm of the Oddities, also known as Misha Chilak, who's done a lot of production work all over the place now, and he's still doing it professionally in LA. But yeah, he and I, we formed a crew with my other buddy, who's no longer making music, and a couple other individuals, and it just kind of like I don't know, somehow it was like a snowball rolling down the hill. You just gather more and more people somehow, and we had a very big sort of collective for a while, and eventually it kind of got whittled down to the people who were really serious about what they were doing. And so me, Book, and this other cat, J-Star, formed a group called Awkward Y. And we put out a tape at the end of '98. And at the same time, my buddy Rainbow Sun Franks, who acts under that name, later became Sny Whip, but he was an MC in a group called Dynasty.
Okay.
And they were filthy. They were so good. And I don't know why necessarily, but they were totally on board with basically merging with our group.
Oh.
I mean, we were decent, we were good enough, but like I always felt like they were on another level. Anyway, we merged. That's when the Oddities was formed. I want to say '99.
Gotcha.
And we also had break dancers, graffiti writers that we hung out with. So it was like a whole thing, and we had sort of made 3 factions of the group. We had the Audible Oddities, which was the music side. We had the Optical Oddities, which were a couple graffiti writers. Eventually, just whittled down to one, which was Whisper. Shout out Whisper. And then the Bottable Oddities, which were our breakers.
That's so funny.
That's great.
And yeah, we played shows. We put out some tapes. We put out sort of a compilation CD called Claustrophonics, because Bookworm Studio at the time was called Claustrophobic Studios. He produced the whole thing, and it's all a bunch of us semi-rapping. Some of it's got spoken word artists on it, all kinds of weird stuff.
Wow.
But our family album didn't really come together until '03.
Right. The Scenic Route?
Yeah. Scenic Route. And that came out on an imprint of Battle Axe Records, which was kind of the premier Canadian indie hip hop label at the time.
Yeah.
Based out of Vancouver. It was run by Mad Child of the Swollen Members.
Right.
And yeah, I guess that's probably a good jump off point. But but yeah, that's kind of where we really cut our teeth on like recording and performing. We did a fair bit in a condensed number of years before it kind of fizzled a little.
Yeah, because was that the only album you guys did?
That was in the family album. We put out a Bookworm solo record under the name Sprolic Stream, which another cool thing. I should mention this because I feel like we were sort of trailblazers, whether or not anyone realizes it. We had an internet radio show.
Wow.
That we ran weekly. It was mostly Bookworm and Sny that did it, because I was already on the West Coast off at school. But I would come back when I'd come back for like winter break and that sort of thing. I would hop on. But yeah, the crew had an internet radio show. This would have been '99.
Wow.
Like a long time ago. And we had a website. We were selling our music through that site. It was oddlyenough.com.
Wow.
And I remember it was funny because while we were on the show, the way that we could communicate with listeners was chatting on ICQ. Y'all remember that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so this is a minute ago.
Taking it way back.
So how many people were doing that at that time? I don't think it was me. So
you and that was right around the time the original Chuck had the original Bring the Noise, I think. Is that right, Flatline?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, right around that time. Yeah.
Yeah, right around that same time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember it was a real audio stream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, real like real networks.
Yeah, real networks. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. It would sound like shit, but it was great.
I think their headquarters is in Seattle, or was. I don't know if they still exist.
Yeah, I don't know if they might be like north of the market still. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They're down there though, I think.
Yeah. So after the Oddities kind of fizzled, what was next for you?
So I continued working with those guys in some capacity, but in 2005, I moved out here to Seattle. And well, actually, this is sort of, I don't think, what I'm leaving out is when I was off at university, this was in Victoria, BC, which is on Vancouver Island. Mocha was like my ambassador to the BC hip hop scene. And I got kind of embedded in the scene there, made connections with a lot of different individuals, got a lot of love for hella folks out there, both on the island and the mainland. And I think the strength of those connections, first of all, it led to my first collaborations with dudes like Ishkan and Mocha.
Right.
But that was way before there was any conversation of the note. But it also, I think, led to our ability to tour out west as the Oddities.
Oh, okay.
And so we played several shows in BC, kind of all around BC, actually. And that enabled us to hit, Calgary, Edmonton, Saskatoon, Regina, Winnipeg as well. So it was good exposure for us.
Yeah.
And I don't want to take all the credit for that, but I think that I played a key role in that.
Right. Well, yeah. You're here to tell the story, so that's fine. We'll give you the credit.
Story. So we get so I get to Seattle, and I'm still working with some of the Oddities dudes long distance. At this point, we haven't given up on Oddities really yet, and we started crafting songs for the next record. And some of those ended up on this sort of retrospective look back anniversary record that we put out, about 6 months ago now.
Okay.
But at the same time, my younger brother had sort of shifted his focus from basketball to making beats.
Oh.
And he's the type of dude that, like, when he gets into something, he gets kind of obsessive about it. So, like, he progressed fast. And I was like, all right, we're making tracks. And he hooked up with this dude, Docs, from Cleveland, who was really dope, super charismatic. Kind of on the periphery of the scene that, like, Chip the Ripper was in. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
Name.
Yep. Chip. Yeah.
So he would come up to Toronto, and sometimes we would time it so that, like, he was visiting at the same time that I'd be back home visiting. And we made a bunch of records. And those ended up on Freeze's 2 albums that he put out.
Okay.
So all of that was kind of brewing around the same time that Moke and I started discussing, well, why don't we do a project together? Because, I'm here now.
Right.
So I would catch the Greyhound or the Amtrak from Seattle up to Vancouver like every other month. And this happened for like 2-3 years. And we just try to knock out as many cuts as we could in like a weekend or a long weekend before I had to head back for work or whatever. And that's kind of how the Nope was birthed. And we recorded, I'd say, about 2.5 albums worth of material.
Oh, wow.
Put out an album and an EP. There's a second album that has yet to be mastered and released, but all the songs are basically there. With some like cool guest spots too. So I hope it eventually sees the light of day.
Oh, so you got to work on that.
Yeah.
time, big time. Like
Yeah.
early collab with Blue, you know,
Wow.
that's a thing, and a song with all three members of Yak Fu Front.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
wow.
Yeah, so fun stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah,
What-
so that's the beginning of the Nope, really, and that has continued. And while we haven't done that much Nope material as of late, Mocha has been courteous enough to continue to invite me to you know, dabble a little bit on his projects. You know,
Yeah.
I show up on several Martian Christmas records and that sort of thing.
And then he also and then he produced the one record for you that the name is escaping me.
Oh yeah, the EP.
Yeah.
Extended Playpen.
Yes. Yes.
Sort of not an EP, but sort of
No,
is.
it's totally an album.
Yes, absolutely.
It's totally an album.
Kind of a play on words.
Yeah. Which is it's a great record. I was listening to it again today. So.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's really
I
good.
loved it.
It's really good.
Oh,
It's great.
sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with that.
it sounds like it. Like
would-
it literally sounds like you're having fun, like making that album. There's just a great vibe with the whole
Yeah.
thing. I really appreciated it. I was like, this is dope, and I can't believe I haven't heard it until now. So
Wow.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
yeah,
There was a certain sense of urgency that went into making that record, actually. I enjoyed it while I was doing it, definitely. But there was also my pops had recently passed.
Oh wow.
He was such a prolific musician that, you know, after he had transitioned, I was kind of sitting there with my own, you know, kind of discography or, you know, folders on the computer of songs that were like half finished and all this stuff. And I was like, how come I don't have my own record yet? Like, what is stopping me? And so I hollered in Moke and I was just like, I'm ready to do this. Are you down to produce a project for me? And he was up for it. And that was it. So
Wow.
it's beautiful. That's a great album. Yeah. Not an EP album.
Yeah, it's an album. It's an album.
the subsequent release was definitely an EP.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And the next release is going to be an EP.
It could be short albums.
Or it could be that.
It could be that. I'm just saying. I don't know.
Hey, well, to bring it back to Nas again,
Yeah.
Illmatic was 9 full songs,
9 full songs.
Right.
Yep.
and they called it an LP. So
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
I don't know.
Yep.
Mad Villain is like 30 something minutes. It's like,
You're right.
you know,
It's a million songs, but each one's like a minute and a half.
Yeah.
right,
Exactly.
right.
Yeah. Yep. So
Yeah,
all these definitions,
right.
you know. Yep. And it's gotten shorter too. I don't know if I think I've mentioned this before. I don't know if it was on the show, but I found out doing the last Public Enemy record that a single LP is a total of 44 minutes now.
Like
Wow.
by industry definitions.
By industry definition, yes. It is back to vinyl configuration. So
Interesting.
in the CD era, it was, you know, what, it's 72 minutes, 80 minutes, or whatever the hell. Yeah, but now it's back to
Hang up if you can.
yeah, right, exactly. So now it's back to 44 minutes or whatever it is. I think it is.
Do you guys think that maybe that's a symptom of like just humans collectively getting shorter and shorter attention spans over time?
Probably.
Mhm.
More
Yeah.
stimulus and faster refresh rates and all that stuff that's just killing
Yeah.
our attention spans.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I don't mind it necessarily, but because I think that you remember that period of time when albums came out and they were just packed to the gills with songs, and half the songs nobody cared about.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
A lot of
you're
filler.
just like, Yeah,
or a bunch of dumb skits.
You're right. Exactly.
Right. Yeah, we got to fill this time.
Yeah.
More
Yep.
skits.
More skits. We got to fill up 76 minutes on the CD.
Yo, the album that we're reviewing tomorrow is Rumpelstiltskins.
Oh, yeah.
Ah,
And there's a track on that CD that it's just a sped up drum track that runs for like a minute and a half. Basic loop.
yeah.
A 1 bar loop that just goes for like a minute and a half. It's like, why?
I can't wait to hear the commentary on that song.
But yeah, it's like literally filler is what a lot of folks are doing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. Yeah. Weird times.
Yeah.
So the you mentioned the Oddities look back compilation or whatever that just came out. What was the impetus for that?
Basically we have a crew WhatsApp chat, and I jumped on and I was like, guys, our 20th anniversary is coming out. Can we like do something? And Book was like, I'll do it if everyone else says okay. To my surprise, like a couple people were gung-ho with it and the rest were fine with it. And so all right, that's good enough. Let's do this.
Right.
So, then it was just a matter of, finalizing the track list. All of these were songs that already existed. Some of them haven't really been like final mixed yet. Most of them just needed a mastering, but big shouts to Book because he's the one that really like hunkered down and like finalized the project.
Nice.
And we just threw it on Bandcamp, and it's a fun little like bit of nostalgia for the folks who were aware at the time and anyone else who might discover it. So
yeah. Have you guys talked about ever doing a reunion gig or anything? Or
we've talked passively about it, not super actively about it.
Gotcha.
But shouts to the homie Jason Jones, who's a member of the crew. He has started designing clothing. He's got a clothing line called Igami, and he's been sponsoring lots of local shows in the Toronto area, and getting the gear out there. And they've talked him into getting on the mic a few times during gigs. So he's toying with the idea of getting back into it, which I'm like, if that happens, like I'm in. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
So what have you been working on musically lately? Well, aside from the theme song for the Body Hat Weekly.
Right.
Yeah, that was cool. When it comes to working with Moke, he is all about the quick turnaround. So it's like he'll just hit me and be like, oh, I want you on this song. Here's the idea. I'm going to send you the beat in a minute. It may or may not already have his verse and a hook on it or something like that. But and then it's kind of like, hopefully I'm not too busy that night because I'd like to drop everything and get it done and get it back to him.
Right.
So usually it's like a day or two tops before we have a finished product. But aside from that, this is somewhat embarrassing, but I got a day job, so whatever. And I'm a full-time parent.
Right.
But I've got a 5-song EP that we are working on final mix and master right now for. And that is solely produced by 1990 Nicks of Circle Research, famed DJ production crew from Toronto.
Word.
And I'm looking forward to that. There's a couple guest spots. I kind of don't want to talk about who's on it yet because I want to have a more concrete idea of when it might be ready for release.
Okay. Okay, that's fine.
But yeah, it's 5 songs. We actually sort of did a soft hint release last year of one of the songs through an NFT. and it was called Snooze Butt, which is about the snooze button and everyone's great relationship with that thing. And so that is out there. It's not really like on streaming, but it's on. Man, I don't even. Here I am, like being a poor self-promoter. It is on the Near blockchain, which, if you're into crypto at all, Near is one of the cryptocurrencies that has a lot of decentralized autonomous organizations where, you know, they might fund creative projects and that sort of thing, and people get together and kind of vote on what to allot some of like the cryptocurrency that's sort of like in the pocket for. And so this was something that we did through one of those events.
Okay.
And it was cool. They had like a little like virtual universe that you could log into, and they played the album live, and
wow,
you know, people had their little avatars and they were dancing in this weird virtual it's definitely something that is it's on the way up, you know. I don't think enough people are really into it yet, but you know, maybe 10 years from now, if crypto sees a greater level of adoption, that sort of thing will be more commonplace.
Interesting.
But I say that to say that we will probably figure out some situation for putting at least that song on streaming fairly soon as kind of a teaser for the rest of the EP. So,
gotcha. Cool.
So yeah.
Well, yeah. Can't wait to check it out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm pretty happy. I think while it's a short track list, I think every song is pretty creative. So yeah.
How do you approach writing?
Oh, that really depends.
I mean, yeah. Do you have to have we've talked to artists that some of them have to have music, but some just get lyrical ideas and start writing from that.
Oh yeah, okay. Back in the day, it was more just, you know, thinking of lines on the bus and jotting them down and then working them into actual verses later on. More recently, it's been more writing to beats.
Okay.
I think that's my preference, because I think it sounds more cohesive.
Mm-hmm.
In the end, you know, you're actually crafting a song with the music in mind,
right,
as opposed to trying to, you know, either leaving it up to a producer to make something around what you've done, or just, you know, essentially cutting and pasting your raps onto an existing beat, you know.
Right.
So for me, that's, I think, my preferred process overall. But, you know, it's happened several different ways. Like one of the songs on Extended Playpen, I just freestyled half the verse and then switched halfway through into writing.
Oh wow!
To the verse, just because it just felt right for that moment, you know.
Yeah.
But
that's dope.
No real science, I don't think.
Right.
You can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't freestyle to save my life.
No.
Jeez. No.
At one point, I was fairly sharp, I think. I'm definitely not what I used to be.
Yeah.
Way out of practice. I mean, I used to kill it in the shower, G. Every time I took a shower, I was freestyling it there. Like all through my 20s, you know?
Yep.
I used to like battle on occasion. Like I would actually like put myself out there and sometimes win and sometimes get embarrassed.
Right.
It's been a long time.
That That was the era, though. I mean,
yeah.
when I think about it, do people freestyle off the head that much? Like, when the high road came out, that was the big thing. Like, yo, you gotta be able to come off the head. But I wonder if I don't know if that's such a big thing now anymore.
I think so. From what I've been exposed to, I think it's still a thing to some extent on the West Coast, probably, especially in Cali. Like, I think there's still like Project Blowed,
Yeah,
and the newer generations of that. And I think they stay pretty true to that.
yeah.
I don't really know what it's like in New York anymore, but I remember like when I went to Rocksteady in the summer of '99. Man, kids were freestyling all over the place. That year it was on the pier. And it was wild because, over here, there'd be a session with like Shapeshifters or something like that from LA.
Right.
And then you walk, 50 yards this way, and you've got like, cats like Mr. Eon, or like, some of the dudes from like the Fondle sphere, like Yak Balls or something.
Right.
It was such a trip, just like seeing all these folks that like you either know really well or you're like vaguely familiar with. But everybody, like nobody was like kicking written in those days unless they were on the stage doing a show,
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I gotta think there's still some sort of like hungry, like
sure,
doing that on the East Coast. But
no, it's still there. I'm just saying, like, I remember it was such a thing, like, just everybody's like, yo, we're rhyming tonight, everybody's going off the head, it's no writtens, and it's like, okay,
right.
You just had to adapt.
For sure. And then college radio too, it was like, I mean, when we used to do the Circle Research Show at CKLN in Toronto at Ryerson University, it was, I mean, actually a very similar format to the show that I used to listen to as a kid in St. Louis, where like they'd play records for like the first hour and a half or whatever, and then the last hour it would just be like whoever was in the studio clamoring to get on and freestyle. And man, it was cool. So many folks passed through for sessions. Like I vividly remember like a session with Brooklyn Academy. What else? Like a lot of dudes from all over the city in Toronto, because Toronto's like kind of a big sprawl.
Right.
So you got dudes like Socrates, Cardinal, Chauclair, the Monolith dudes like YOK, Danny O, IRS. They were all out in Scarborough. And so like you didn't get to see them that often in the city proper. But every now and then they would come down to the radio show and it was just like it was on, I miss that. Definitely. That was a fun era.
I was going to ask you, what was your, because I was curious, I'm always curious about labels, record labels, and how was your Battle Axe? I mean, it was Underworld, but how was that experience with them? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Let me qualify that sound. I think my expectations were just much higher than the end result. And so, part of it is like the naivety of me getting into the game and my crew getting into the game. I mean, I think all of us sort of felt the same way. But it was, at the beginning, there was such a buzz. Our manager at the time was this dude, Fritz the Cat, who was an early record reviewer for Vice magazine and Herb magazine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember Fritz the Cat. Yeah,
he was like the only dude in Canada who was covering the likes of Freestyle Fellowship or Divine Styler or like some more obscure acts, you know?
right.
And when he took an interest in managing us, it was like, oh, hell yes.
Right.
And he was the one who secured the Battle Axe deal. And so that was exciting. He had just, like 6 months prior to coming on with our team, he had gotten an A&R position at Universal Canada.
Wow.
And so it was like, you know, he was running around making connections all over the industry. And then he started managing us and he bailed on the A&R position.
Wow.
And we took that as like a big vote of confidence, right?
Right.
Like, you really think we've got something here. And, you know, we came out to Battle Axe's offices in Vancouver and they were like, yo, like, you guys are our Toronto act, you know? And so it felt like a big vote of confidence from them too. And we got, we secured a grant for the first video and we got Wendy Morgan to direct it. And she had already gotten some accolades from her work with Swollen Members and various other people in the Canadian scene. And then Fritz sort of had a crisis of, I want to say, purpose. And he decided that he really wanted to take off and move to Montreal and pursue his own art. And we kind of felt left high and dry at the time. All is good now. Like, love to that dude. Like, you know, he's still the homie. Like, he had to do what he had to do. But the relationship with Battle Axe was never the same after that. And there was some funny business. There was another dude who came in wanting to be our manager, but claiming that we owed him money for some shows that we played because he had some sort of backdoor agreement with Fritz that we didn't really even know much about. And he kind of shadow threatened us when we met with him. He was like, look, I'm on the board of Video Fact at Much Music. And so I'm part of the group of people that decides what videos get played and what gets funded and this and this and that. And so it was kind of like, oh, so if we don't go with you, how's that going to go? And we decided not to. We were like, yo, this just doesn't feel right. Like, we're going to do our own thing. And we never got another video grant after that. And so a lot of groups that we felt were less deserving and less skilled get grants and, you know, go on to make videos that never went anywhere.
Right.
I ain't saying names, but we might not have been the best out there, but like, I feel like we had something to offer. And like, some people definitely knew that. And anyway, so it was kind of ugly, but we managed to continue playing shows and touring. But, you know, dudes, it was a lot, you know, it was 5 MCs. And, you know, at least one of us was starting a family. A couple other people were like, yo, I need to actually like pay my bills. Music isn't doing that fully. And it's just hard, you know. Life gets in the way of life, right? Once you hit the so
the group dynamic is its own beast.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a challenge. When it gels, when it's like firing on all cylinders, nothing feels better.
Yeah.
Let's say. But yeah, it's tough. And I don't blame anyone, man. Everyone's got their own business to attend to. And I'm proud to say, like, they're all still my friends. Like,
that's great.
You know.
Yeah.
So.
That's dope.
Yeah.
All right. So we gotta go. I was gonna talk about some of your favorite records. I mean, you already mentioned Illmatic, obviously.
Oh, man.
You know.
That's so important.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
No pressure.
Yeah,
No pressure.
Where do I even begin? Before I was sensitive to content, NWA's second album after Cube left was like monstrous for me.
Interesting.
And to this day, I think it's some of Dre's best work on the boards.
Mm-hmm.
And Ren was no slouch with the pen either.
Nope.
We all knew what DOC was capable of, but I thought Ren kind of showed out a little bit. The second side is a little hard to stomach these days.
It sure is.
I think there's half a good album in there.
For sure. Always been a huge fan of DJ Quick.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, he's so great.
Underrated.
What else? Digital. I mean, I've kind of made I haven't tried to hide it at all that I'm like Shock G's biggest fan pretty much. And obviously like, Sex Packets, insane. But like for me, Body Hat and Future Rhythm are just as good.
Yeah.
Food fight.
It's about to be
I was just listening to it earlier in the car today, and my kid was like, "Run it back, play Food Fight again."
That's a good help.
Man, what else? Redman's first 3 albums, completely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think Muddy Waters is the best one, but I think There Is a Dark Side is my favorite one, if that makes sense.
Interesting.
But shit, what is crazy too?
It's a good run.
It's a good run.
Crazy run.
It's a good run.
And the initial run of boot camp stuff.
Oh yeah.
Enter the Stage, huge record for me.
Huge.
Some of the content didn't age all that great.
Yeah.
Homophobia was like the thing of the day back then. And that a little bit on the record that's like hard to bump super loud at times.
Right.
But then the other thing about that album is like arguably the best songs that came out of that era of Black Moon were those remixes.
Yeah.
Remixes. Insane.
Yes.
Actually on the core album. Not to say that the originals weren't amazing, because they were, but like I Got You Open remix, step up. Fuck them down the mix, step up, Because like Buckshot
Yeah.
Yeah. That was so cool. Yeah, see?
You know my favorite song? I'll just say, I didn't love that album, but my favorite song on that album was Slave. I thought it sounded so different to me than everything else on the album, and I really took to that song. But I to this day, I guess I'll turn that up. I love Slave.
Yeah, Slave is it.
Filthy.
Yeah.
And then Smith and Wesson and Helter Skelter, their first record.
There you go.
Crazy. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Whew.
Damn, what else? Obviously, like, I'm a Hyro head. I'm one of those rare people who feels that No Man's Land is almost as good as 93 Till.
This is why I like. This is why I like Dave Psy. That's why that's my boy.
Another drink.
Nice.
Bro.
So the single hurt the reception of that album, man. A rocket like that, it's a fine song, but it just ain't on the level of the rest of their stuff.
Hold on.
Okay. Let me hear.
I love that song, and I feel Festo. That verse he does at the end.
Crazy.
I told Festo that, and he responded. I was like, oh, yo, that Festo to me is that whole song. When he comes on the end, And it's not super complex. It's the delivery. It's like, yo, Festo killed that. Yeah. But I love that album.
He showed out on that album.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I think he is probably the most unsung member of the whole clique. If you ask me.
I would agree. I would agree. Now let me ask you this. Now we're on high road talk. Flatline.
Here we go.
Let's go.
Not say okay. Who is your favorite member of High Road, and who do you think is the best, if you had to say, out of everybody? MC wise.
So first of all, if you ask me that answer, like any year from 92 forward, if you ask me that question, you're going to get a different answer. On the first, on 93 till, I think it was Tajay. He was,
and this could be all High Road. It doesn't have to just be souls. It could be,
Yeah. At that point, it was Tajay.
Right.
By the time No Man's Land came around, it had shifted to Pep Love.
Oh.
And his little solo joint on that album is my favorite song on the album.
Wow.
Yo, that is yo, this is why I like Dave Psy. I feel the same way. Dude, I do it. Yo, I love that song. That's like a great interlude.
It's so and it's
dope.
It's so like yes, give that to him, damn it. Because like
yes,
it didn't really happen. And then anyway. But and this is gonna be a controversial take because it didn't really happen until after he left the group. But Extra Pro was freaking crazy.
Shut the show down. Me and Dave are gonna talk offline.
I love that. Yo, that Extra Prolific record, I love that record.
So that's a really good album. But for me, it didn't emerge. He didn't emerge as my favorite until 2 for 15, actually. And
oh wow.
And there were things that he was doing on that record that like I sort of couldn't understand. And it wasn't until that point that I learned that he was originally from Houston. Because there's something different about his swag than the rest of these dudes.
Yep.
Unfortunately, for reasons I'm not going to go into because I know it's a yucky subject.
Yeah.
He had to go. I actually did a song with him.
Really?
The Snoop? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
About 8 years ago. Never put it out, but it's there. It's in the files.
Wow.
Hopefully I find a place for it.
He had done a record not too long ago. Well, I guess it's been a few years now.
Yeah.
But...
Like sort of a mashing of like it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to remember what it was called.
It's like a play on that title, isn't it? Or something like that? Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
That was a tough one to listen to.
It had some high points though.
Yeah, I remember it being okay. I remember there were a couple joints. Yeah.
I'm just saying content-wise, some of the stuff he was saying, I was like,
oh, okay. Gotcha.
He's got, I get you what you're saying.
Yeah.
He found religion in
his
music going forward.
Yeah. I got you.
Worse. But anyway, okay, so that, and then at some point, Casual just took over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it's been Casual for like the last decade.
Wow. Yeah.
Plus.
Yeah, he's done.
I like this guy
in the last decade, I think.
Yeah. I like this guy.
He's so good.
Mm-hmm.
And creative and funny too, and yeah.
Yep.
Like and not at the expense of the rest of the Hyro dudes because they're all like lethal.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if there's any crew that has such a consistently high skill level for each of its members.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true.
I should have worn my Hyro shirt. Shit.
Yeah. What else, man?
I was gonna say, is there anything that you've heard recently new that you were impressed by?
I don't have anything to talk about that's brand new, and that's only because nothing's jumping into my brain at the moment. I know there's stuff, but
Yeah.
I'd say in the past like 4 or 5 years, the two records that I think made the biggest impact on me from artists that I previously didn't know was Smino Black Swan. Freaking love that album.
I don't know that one. I'll check
Okay, so first of all, St. Louis.
Right.
So, you know, it's a foregone conclusion with me. But I don't think he was influenced by Fellowship, but he was tapping into a lot of the same patterns and stuff like that they kind of trademarked. And melody, and like Anderson .Paak, he's a drummer.
Oh, wow.
You can hear his drum chops in his writing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
His patterns, like a lot of them are almost like he's doing solos or something.
Wow.
Punchlines, and his melodies are creative, and he has, cool song topics, and he's very cool. I don't know. And then by the same token, I got to give it up to Saba, who's like basically his counterpart in Chicago, who's also ridiculously dope. And those guys kind of ended up getting down with Dreamville, I think, to some extent, to Cole's greater family. Yes.
Yeah.
But, they're not from the same area or anything. And then on a completely different vein, Ivan Ave out of Norway put out this record called Every Eye. And it's a concept album. It's a loose concept album, but like every song relates back to the eyes in some way or another. But he's a really good writer. You can tell he's got a major appreciation for jazz music and digging, and he's worked a lot with I don't know how to say this dude's name. Is it Mind Design or Mind Sign? Do you know this?
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Really dope. Lots of like cool synthy stuff, and a certain amount of funk. And yeah, anyway, I think Ivan Ave's an excellent writer. And if you didn't know he was from Norway, you wouldn't know, because he sounds like he could be from like Brooklyn or Philly or something.
Oh, wow.
I think he might have gone to college in the States or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah. Trying to think of what else. I don't know.
See, that's great, because that gives me new stuff to check out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I've always appreciated like Kendrick and Ab-Soul. I think they're both great. Some songs better than others, but like the skill's always top tier to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cole as well. I think he's excellent at what he does. Earth Gang have a couple really good songs. I can't get with everything they do. Oh, Jid, he's crazy. JID.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's excellent. But yeah, I don't know. I'm all over the place.
That's aren't we all? Jeez.
Yeah.
Hey.
You gotta be.
Yeah.
Hip hop sort of came up like this and then just went.
Yeah.
So
totally did. So do you still have? So you see Flatlines, CDs, and cassettes and stuff. Do you still collect?
To some extent, not as much as I used to, only because physical space has become a concern.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, I'm looking at Flatline's wall and I'm like, man, that's awesome. And it's very nicely organized from the look of it. And
it just went up.
Respect.
I just moved. So yeah. But moving all this shit was not fun.
No,
No.
for sure not.
It was awful. Yeah.
Yo, vinyl is so heavy.
So
Like, I can't
PTSD.
imagine having crates and crates and crates. Like I want it, but I don't want it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I swore I was never going to buy any more records after moving, and I pre-ordered, I think, 4 in the last 2 weeks.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing real good.
I'll stop tagging you guys in old tapes that are being sold.
Oh no, please.
I'll stop tagging.
No, please do, but you know.
Well, I noticed the comments. Peace, hype style. I have never collaborated with Sage Francis. I'd be down to. I think he's an incredible writer. That wordplay song he put out back in the day, I thought was insane. I'm not that familiar with like all of his catalog, but I think he's a very strong songwriter and clearly a good freestyler too. Oh, Homeboy Sandman is a freaking genius. I have to say.
Yeah. Word up.
I love this guy.
Yes. Homeboy Sandman is super dope.
Yeah.
Super consistent.
Yep. Yeah, we were just was that after the show a couple weeks ago? We were talking about the lice.
Yeah, because then I did the video like the next day.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oatmeal cookies.
Yeah, oatmeal cookies.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Aesop Rock is brilliant too. He's one of those guys that's almost too smart for his own good. He's totally editorializing, but like, it's like you hear one song and there's so much to process that it's hard to take in a lot of songs in a row from him. For me,
yeah.
And I don't mean that in any negative way. I mean, you know, it's almost to say like he's vibrating at such a high level that the listener has to catch up, you know?
Yeah. So very true.
Yeah. What else? Oh shit. Breeze Bruin is one of my favorite MCs.
Oh yeah. Shout out to Breeze Bruin.
It's like one of my most prized possessions. Rest in peace to Ka. Ka, brilliant.
Yeah.
That's very tragic.
That was rough.
Yeah.
Not to move on quickly, but Saphir is another one that's been a major influence.
You guys hit me to the Trigonometry album because I had never really heard that record.
Oh, you hadn't?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I only really knew him from Boxcar Sessions. So
okay.
Yeah. So
going back to the whole like vinyl collecting thing. So I may or may not have jumped on eBay looking for anything Mr. No-No related. And I found a vinyl single for Going Home, which I didn't know existed.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I did scoop that up.
Nice.
You know, it's like
that's not heavy.
Yeah.
it's only one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not heavy.
One's not bad. It's when you get 100 and that's when it gets bad.
No, it's when you gotta move when it gets bad.
Well, I'm saying.
Like, you know, that's kind of how it goes. Like every now and then I'll jump online and just see what I can find, or if I'm in a record store and I get carried away, I'll walk out with something, you know.
Yeah.
I found a pressing of the Humpty Dance. How could I not? I had to do that.
Yeah.
You know,
Of course.
Yeah.
Don't you, you know, speaking of record stores, and I don't know how, all of you, I don't know how frequently you go. I miss those days, like when it was a thing, like a regular thing. Like records are coming out Tuesdays or Thursdays. You're anticipating it because you saw it in the source, you saw it in Herb magazine, you know the release date. And then you get it home, you open it up, you're looking at the pictures, you want to know who they're shouting out, who they're down with, you're listening to it. And it's just not, whether we're older, it's not this, it's just not the same experience. I miss those days.
Yeah.
maybe ditching the last class of the day to get to the store early.
Yeah, I did that. Yeah, for sure.
And the smell that there's still, I think for me it's more distinctive with cassettes, but that new cassette smell is like,
was dope.
Yeah.
Yes, it was dope. It was always dope. I try to get down to the record shop I don't do it every week, but every couple weeks. But it's not. It's a different kind of thing.
Not the same.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a different kind of thing now. Because I'm buying stuff that I missed. I'm usually looking for older stuff. It's like I don't go in there like, hey, what just came out? It's not that.
Yeah.
It's not that sort of thing anymore. So yeah, I get it.
I don't think it's too much of a stretch to say that you guys are big on nostalgia, right?
No, not too much of a stretch at all.
Which I think is probably why our podcast fits in so well with what y'all are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because it's, digital age, like there's something to be said for like the instant gratification. Like that's great, and like being able to find all this stuff that you could never find back in the day.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
There was stuff like, I don't know if y'all remember the Derelicts, but like I couldn't find their record anywhere, and it's on YouTube.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, like that. And it wasn't just new releases. It was also like we used to go used CD shopping, and we would run all around downtown Toronto. We had a whole loop of like the 3 main avenues that we would walk, and like just flipping so much.
Yep.
At the end of the weekend, spend and we get in like shoving matches. Like, yo, I found it first. Like, mine. Like all that type of shit. Crazy. And like some of the dollar bin finds, oh my god!
Oh yeah, insane.
Yeah,
that's where I got Action Packed Adventure. Yeah,
really?
From front. I found it in a dollar bin. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Oh, here he goes.
Well, I was just gonna say that I found. I don't know. Maybe you'll find it funny, but
there you go. Wow,
that's a good find.
Yeah,
like it should be.
$1.99.
$1.99.
That ain't bad.
Great album.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dave, I have to ask because you mentioned it before. During your time in Toronto, did you run home to watch Rap City with Michael Williams on Much Music?
So Michael Williams' Rap City was before my time.
Okay.
When I arrived, they had a host. Oh my God, I'm spacing. I think his name was Oliver.
Okay.
Somebody fact check me on that, please.
That's after my time.
Okay. Oh, right, because you have spent time.
Yeah. I grew up in Vancouver, so yeah. So I have VHS tapes of all sorts of stuff that I've been slowly uploading to the Hip Hop Gods YouTube. But there's some gems that I got up there now.
Definitely. Like they for sure aired some videos that you weren't going to catch on BAT.
Right.
It was pretty cool. They were sort of like a middle ground between like the video jukebox and BAT in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some great stuff. And then they had artists that would come in the studio. It was very much like a pre kind of TRL on MTV almost.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
What happened? What happened, Ultra Mag?
The most scared I was ever in my life was with Princess Superstar. And I don't know, whatever the show was, but it was like a Canadian TRL. We were in Vancouver.
Yeah.
We did a show. Oh, I was the most scared I was ever in my life because I knew it was going out to so many people. Yeah.
That's right.
It's crazy.
Did say that. Yeah.
Oh, it was frightening.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Flatline Chuck says you're in a CD cassette stadium.
Oh, yeah. It's a good place to be.
Yeah, it is.
I got one more Toronto question.
Yeah.
Did you ever listen to this?
Okay. First of all, yes, and that video was amazing.
Yeah.
But he's an Ottawa cat, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's right.
And I don't know if all of you are aware of what Flatline just.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's
It's
Tom
Green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Tom Green.
Yeah.
Young Tom Green.
Yep.
And he also used to have like a show that was on like local access TV that was like his, it was like before it was really a talk show format. It was just like him going around Ottawa and Montreal and sometimes Toronto and just doing crazy shit. And it was this thing that like if you knew, you knew, and you would catch it on the local access television. But yeah, he was I'd never had the sense that he was like super involved in the hip hop scene. I think those boys always just kind of like had their own little world. I could be wrong because he was really making his moves with organized rhyme before I arrived in Canada full time. When I first got to Toronto, the first local act that I became aware of after having moved, like I already was aware of like Dream Warriors and Maestro and Mushi Me and stuff, but the first act was Socrates. And he had started putting stuff out. He had like a white label or two. He had a single called Still Caught Up that was on 12-inch that I'm proud to have. And he quickly became sort of like a darling of underground Toronto radio. And he was kind of running it for like a good year or so, maybe even two, before Cardinal really like jumped out. There was also Ghetto Concept that was really dope.
Right.
Shit. But Cardinal used to go by the name Kool-Aid.
I didn't know that.
He was one of sort of like the early endorsers, so to speak, of my guy's Dynasty, who we later merged with. Because I guess, I don't know if he had gone to their same high school or if he was maybe originally from that part of town before he relocated to the east side. But anyway, that was like the first, like their crew was called Figures of Speech. And then eventually they merged with Chalk Claire and Afrolistic and their crew, which was called Maroon Squad, and they combined and formed the Circle. And they were the it crew in Canada for a really long time, I feel like, or at least in Toronto. I think it spread beyond that. And then the Rascals came out of Vancouver with Really Livin', and that was huge.
Yeah, it was big.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah. There's something to be said for that scene, man.
Yeah.
I wish they had gained some more stateside notoriety, because I feel like a lot of those cats were really worth it.
Yeah.
Chuck D shouted Brampton.
Yeah.
Respect to Chuck D, man.
So we played them on the old rap station. The old rap station.
Yeah, the old rap station.
Nice.
Yeah, Chuck, we were talking about the original Bring the Noise. Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
Boom.
Real awesome.
Yep. Was that like around the end of the millennium, you think?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because that was right about the time that I started sending Chuck music that I was doing. And and so it had to be like 99 ish. Right. Is that right, Chuck? 99, Bring the Noise?
Had to have been 99.
Yeah, I think so. Because the rap station site was supposed to be news, I think, right? It was news, and it had music you could upload.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah. The OG rap station.
Just 25 years ago, no big deal.
Yeah, right, exactly. You took Mishi on a Canadian tour across,
Oh,
yeah.
I love her.
Shout out to Mishi.
I love her more than you do.
You mean,
Oh, dude, you see,
It's my girl.
this is payback.
for in recent years, but my homie Mindbender, shouts to Mindbender. He got Mishi Me on a cut not too long ago.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Mishi got bars, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it still got bars.
Yeah.
She's a legend.
Yep. She was on that one remix I did that.
Oh, yeah.
Flatline.
The Smash the Crowd remix.
Smash the Crowd remix.
There's
Yeah.
everybody on it.
Yeah. Oh my God. Jeez.
Like 20
So many
MCs
people.
on there.
Yeah. It's a lot of. Shameless plug. You can hear it on Enemy Radio on Rap Station. There you go.
Nice. I'm gonna listen to that right after this episode.
Into rotation. I'll send it to you, Dave. I'll send you that joint.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because if you wait around listening for the stream, you might have to listen for a week before it comes up. There's so much stuff on there. So
Yo, speaking of the stream, I was absolutely tickled to find that you guys did that mixtape thing
oh yeah.
a couple of days ago. I wasn't expecting that, and thank you so much.
Shout out to DJ Soulbuck.
Yeah,
Yes.
big shouts to DJ Soulbuck.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yep. He
Yeah.
always gives the lesson so that the guests are prepared, or the crowd is prepared for.
Oh, is that kind of the scheme? Like,
Yeah.
is that kind of how it goes for all of these?
Yep.
That's really cool. That's a good
Yeah. He sets
strategy.
us up, so to speak.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah.
Up,
And we're not playing music today, so we're whack today. But we're lame. We're lame today. Not you, Dave. Just us three. We're lame today.
We're not spinning music. We're not spinning music yet.
Yeah.
Judge, gosh.
All right, Dave. Anything else you want to mention before we get out of here?
I don't think so. Shouts to all my families, shouts to the Oddities, shouts to the City Planners, Nope, Seen from Space, DJ Mr. Stylus, shouts to 1990 Knicks. I'm super excited for our EP we're working on. And yeah, shouts to y'all, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Man, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, big time.
Thanks for coming through. Yep.
And catch him tomorrow on Bad Head Weekly.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna be here. I'll be starting half an hour from now tomorrow.
Yes. Exactly.
Right.
I'll see if I can sit in. It's a little late for me, but
Yeah,
we'll
it's a
see.
little late for East Coasters. Sorry.
Yeah. But I love sitting in with you guys because it's a lot of fun. So
Yeah, we love having you. And Ultra Mag Flatline, please come through for
Dude, it's so late, but I get mad. You see me in the comments because listen, it's not a good visual, but sometimes it's laying in the bed. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Yo,
but I want to get on.
Where are you based?
New Jersey.
Jersey. Okay.
Yeah.
Late times happen.
Yep.
all right. Thanks for coming through tonight, Dave. Appreciate you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Big respect.
Yep. All right. Take care.
You too.
All right.
Mm.
There we go. Dave Psy, everybody.
I'm glad Dave's on the team, man.
Hell yeah.
He's our type of person.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
And like Chuck says, he's the hip hop yogi. So there you go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yep. Don Key, I do not have a yellow indie tape that's out of Toronto. I don't know what that is.
The certain yellow indie tape out of Toronto.
I'd like to know what it is.
Yeah. Come on, Don.
It'll be 10 minutes for Don Key gives you the answers, and it's going to be super cryptic.
Right? I don't know. I don't know about that, but I do know that you can join Flatline, Mr. Chuck D, and myself every Friday night for the Angie Don't Stop radio show. 2 hours of hip hop goodness. And are we still on Mixcloud? Is Mixcloud been?
Yes, Mixcloud is cool. It's stopped doing its weird error message.
Okay, so check it out on Mixcloud, on the Rap Station app, or in certain markets on the good old radio.
Mm-hmm.
And you can catch Ultramag and DJ Soul Buck and Jennifer O. Jenny every Sunday night right here on Channel Zero, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the mixtape. They play the music of our upcoming guests. And I forgot to look up who our upcoming guest is.
It's the return of the step drummer Bobby Simmons.
Bobby Simmons back again.
Yep.
He will be back.
That's right. Yeah.
And we can laugh about his tambourine playing and his crack smoking.
Yes. So yes, join us next week. Step drummer Bobby Simmons back for round 2.
Yeah.
And yes, check out Body Hat Weekly with Dave Psy and Mocha Only tomorrow night.
Yes.
As they're going through the Rumpelstiltskins record. So, yep, that'll be a good one to dissect. So, Yep. Shout out to everybody watching us live, everybody watching on the replay. Please like and subscribe if you dig the show. Tell a friend, and also grab the Bring the Noise app and download it. Go in the App Store and grab that. And thank you, Flatline. Thank you, Ultramag. Again, shout out and sympathies to JOJ.
Yes.
And and we'll see everybody next week for another episode of It's C-Doc again.
Peace.